Hi, this is Ken Warren. I'm pastor of Maplewood Christian Church here in Ravenna, Ohio, and I just wanted to share with a few moments to our church family and friends. How are you doing? Are you taking care of yourself? You know, this is an anxious time, and one of the things that causes anxiety is when you focus your mind on things that are beyond your control rather than focusing on the things that you can do something about. And are you doing those things? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting enough activity? I don't say exercise because it doesn't have to be formal exercise, but are you up and moving and using your body? What about nutrition? I found it slightly amusing and somewhat dismaying during the early stages of this coronavirus. I was at a store and noticed, of course, the toilet paper was gone and the water bottles were gone, and also the Pop-Tarts were gone. And I'm not sure, I mean, I like a Pop-Tart better than the next guy, but really, are you getting enough nutrition and nutrition of the right kind? It can be a little bit difficult when supplies are limited, but really, you can do it. Focus on getting the right kinds of nutrition. Are you taking care of your mind, exercising your mind, and getting away from the more troublesome thoughts of the day? You know, reading some good books, engaging your mind in some way, and finally, probably relational health. What are you doing to keep relational health? We've been told to stay at home, actually ordered to stay at home. But you know, we're fortunate that in this day and time we have more means than ever to stay connected with each other. You know, we can use various social media like I'm doing right now, or the phone. I'd encourage you, talk to a neighbor across a fence. You keep that 6 foot distance, but it does the heart well just to see someone and talk to someone. And if you're here, a part of our church, and you're feeling isolated, please reach out to us. Let us know. We want to make sure that no one feels alone during this time, and we're going to be putting other things into motion here to make sure that we stay in touch with you. But do your best to keep your relational health. You know, I've been encouraging you as a church to read through the book of Philippians while we're separated. It's a great exercise to have the whole church reading the same book together and allowing God to speak to us about the same things. And in my own reading, I've been reading here in Philippians chapter 2, and I want to share a few thoughts with you from Philippians 2, and I think it's really pertinent for our lives today. I want to start reading. Let me just read verses 1 through 4 from Philippians chapter 2. The Apostle Paul says, "Therefore, if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any common sharing in the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and of one mind. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interest, but each of you to the interest of others." I just want to share a thought that comes to me out of this passage, and it goes like this: our focus shapes our thoughts, and our thoughts shape our actions. Let me say that again. This time I'll try not to mess it up. Our focus shapes our thoughts, and our thoughts shape our action. What are you focusing on right now? Are you focusing on the coronavirus and devouring every press conference and every news article that you can read? Or it's good to be informed. We have to be informed, but what is your focus? And I think Paul gives us a focus. He gives it to us in the form of a question, I think. He says, "Therefore, if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any common share in the Spirit, in any tenderness or compassion," he's saying, do you benefit? Is there any benefit to you from being one with Christ? Comfort, love, tenderness, being united in the Spirit. Do you have any benefit from Christ? And that's our focus. What is the benefit that you receive from Christ? How have you been blessed in your life by your relationship with Christ? If that becomes your focus, think of the difference that can have in your life. Rather than focusing on what you don't have or focusing on a challenge that you're facing, focusing on some deadline that's looming and you don't know how you're going to meet it with the restrictions due to the coronavirus, focusing on what you don't have. Think of how that colors your world rather than making the focus, the bedrock, the foundation of your mind being what you have in Christ, what you have received in Christ, who you are in Christ. Remember what I'm saying, your focus shapes your thoughts, and your thoughts will shape your actions. So our focus is on Christ and our benefit from what we receive from Christ. So Paul says, if you've received anything from him, and that's our foundation, those things we received in him, then he says, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and in one mind. That's your thoughts. Your focus is on your blessings, your unity in Christ. And then he says, be like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and mind. He's not saying that you have to agree with all of your fellow church members or other Christians on everything. That's far from the truth. But if our focus is in Christ, then the core of our thoughts, the core of our motivation, the core of who we are, the core of how we interact with people and interact with our community will be the same, because it's an expression, an outflowing of Christ's love. Our focus on what Christ has given us will shape the way we think about the world around us. We can disagree perhaps politically, we can disagree about our sports teams, but we're united in our thought about what really matters in our society. So our focus shapes our thoughts, and then our thoughts shape our actions. And Paul gets to that in verse 3. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interest of others. He's not just talking about there of a philosophy or how you're thinking, but valuing others, putting others ahead of yourself in your actions. Don't look to your own interest, but each of you to the interest of others. Our focus shapes our thoughts, and our thoughts shape our actions. Hope that blesses you today. God bless you. I look to see you soon.